Good morning from Rockingham, the American-style motor speedway in the heart of England. We're just a few miles from Corby in Northamptonshire, and we're nearing the climax of Britain's premier motor racing championship. Just 6 races remain to decide the High-Q MSA British Touring Car Championship, 3 of them at Rockingham today. Colin Turkington has an 11-point championship lead over his main challenger Fabrizio Giovanardi. Could today be the day when one of them makes a decisive move? Well, Louise Goodman has been getting all the championship opinion, but reports first of all on what happened in qualifying yesterday.
The championship contenders had mixed fortunes in yesterday's qualifying session, racing Silverline with a team to beat, but after Matt Jackson's starring role at Silverstone last time out, it was his teammates' turn to stand in the spotlight. Plato's on pole and ready to roll at Rockingham.
In theory, had Matt nailed his lap, he could have been on pole, and that was the concern for us, that no one likes to be beaten by your teammate. So it was really important for me to nail this one.
Johnny Adams spoiled Chevy's party, pipping Jackson and claiming the remaining front row slot for Airways BMW with just a minute of the session remaining.
The BM is good off the corners, traction, and you've probably seen that, as the years wore on, really. And this circuit kind of lays itself out to that, really. So tomorrow, hopefully the car will be strong over a race run, and hopefully we're at the top end of the race.
Jackson's third and just a wee bit disappointed.
We sat on pole for some time, and I said to the engineer, Mark, I said, this is going to go quicker because the sun went in. And we put 4 new boots on the car, and in hindsight, maybe we should have left the rears as a U set and put a new set of fronts on. But it's great for racing Silverline. It's brilliant that one of the cars is on pole, and gutted it likes to be me, but there you go.
Stephen Jelley took top honours for Team RAC. He lines up 4th ahead of a delighted and slightly surprised Paul O'Neill, who posted 5th fastest despite the fact his regular engineer's not here this weekend.
He said to me, if you get in the top 10, I'll be well happy. We were P2 for half the session. He went, I'm quite happy. So, I'm over the moon. The team deserve it. The car's fantastic. I've always said the car is a good car, and if you can get a lucky lap together but work hard as well, who knows what can happen. It's fantastic for everyone on sunshine.co.uk.
Gordon Shedden's back for more BTCC action. The Scots put together a deal with Cartridge World to get his Seat Leon back out on track and rewarded their faith by posting the 6th fastest time. In 7th place, it's Fabrizio Giovanardi.
I think we paid a little bit the ballast here, but the car in the circuit has always been pretty fast, so I'm confident for the race.
Rob Collard lines up on row 4, and Johnny Herbert fared much better in his 2nd BTCC qualifying session. He's 9th on the grid. Tom Chilton makes up the top 10 in the ever-improving Team A on Ford. So where does that leave championship leader Colin Turkington? Well, he ended a frustrating day down in 14th and far from happy with his performance.
We want to need to have a look at the car, a bit of a debrief, and try and assess, where we've went wrong, where we've lost the time. Haven't really felt comfortable all day, in the car, so hopefully we can improve it for tomorrow.
So our first live race of the day will be round 25 of the British Touring Car Championship, underway in just a few minutes' time on this magnificent circuit, the start of another busy afternoon of live racing on ITV4. Pressure is mounting on Turkington and Giovanardi. We'll hear from the contenders in a couple of minutes. We're at the Rockingham circuit in Northamptonshire, where the headline action is 3 races in the British Touring Car Championship, which could help to decide whether Colin Turkington is to be our new champion or whether Fabrizio Giovanardi will claim the title for the 3rd straight year. 11 points is the gap at the top of the championship table, 6 races remaining. At the moment, at least, it looks like a straight fight between Turkington in the BMW, Giovanardi in the Vauxhall.
Well, we're getting down to the business end of the championship, and Colin, you really could have hardly picked a tougher competitor to go up against in the fight, could you?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Fabrizio has won the title twice already, and I'm trying to do it for the first time. I'm leading at the moment, but 6 races to go. The gap is very small now, so hopefully I can beat him this time, but it's going to be very difficult.
We've got the 2 of you here, but Fabrizio, you actually think there's another man who can play quite a large part in this battle, don't you?
Yeah, when I wasn't talking, I wasn't thinking, where is Jason? Where is Jason? Because it's It's not that far. It's far, but everything could happen between now and in the end. In the last couple of weeks, Jelley has been really tough, really strong. So we have to be not too sure, to be just me and him to fight for the championship. Obviously, we are in the front now, but you never know.
You've been in this situation before. Do you think that gives you some kind of advantage?
Me?
Yes, you.
It's not kind to say in front of him.
Well, let's ask.
They started already.
Let's ask Colin then. Do you think you're at a disadvantage, perhaps, or maybe you're at an advantage? You're hungry, you want it more.
Well, yeah, possibly. You know, I don't feel that you know I'm at a disadvantage. You know, I have a good car and a good team behind me, so you know I've got as good a shot at it as Fabrizio has. But as he says, you know, Jason isn't far away, and you know he's in pole position for tomorrow. So you know by this time tomorrow night, there could be 3 of us standing here.
You were leading the championship by 29 points at Croft, and it now stands at 11 points. Does that mean Fabrizio's the man with the momentum at the moment?
No pressure. No pressure.
Well, yeah, I would say so. You know, before the mid-season break, I had a great run of form and you know won 4 races in 2 meetings. Since then, the results haven't been quite as good, but you know I've been carrying ballast and it's been a bit more difficult. So you know these last 2 meetings, you know they're like a separate mini championship, and you know I have to try and get the results.
Colin desperately wants this, but you've already got 2 titles. Do you need another one? Are you still really hungry?
Oh, no, why? He's young. He needs a title more than me. No. I will left for him. Don't mind.
You believe that?
No, not at all.
Seriously though, are you still as hungry?
Yeah, I'm here to make my job at the best I can for Vauxhall, for me, and I think I'm racing. I'm still racing. I'm 42 years old. I'm still racing because I want to win. Obviously, I hope it will be tough for everyone until the end, because I think the people watching loves this. And yeah, I don't think the best will win. I think yeah, the best will win.
Going to go all the way though?
I would say so. You know, it's impossible for me to try and win it this weekend. You know, this has been said in the media, but it's no chance. You know, there's only 2 or 3 points between us each weekend, so it more than likely go to race 3 at Brands.
Let's just hope he takes the racing a bit more seriously than he's taking this interview.
Yeah, maybe I'll be okay.
I'm having them both off.
And Colin and Fabrizio and Jason are out on track next as we bring you round 25 of the Haiku MSA British Touring Car Championship. After that, it's the single-seaters of the Formula Renaults, with Dean Smith edging nearer the title. But not quite as close as Phil Glue in the Renault Clios, over 80 points ahead going into the weekend. He could take the title in round 17. ITV commentator Tim Harvey is nicely placed to retain the Porsche Carrera Cup, round 18 at 1:15. And the build-up to our second touring car action is at 2:05. And then it's the 14 to 17-year-olds on track in the hard-fought Ginetta Junior Championship. More from the Renault Clios at around 3:15. And they're followed on track by the Ginetta G50s and the leader Nathan Freak, another who could become a champion this weekend. And 6.5 hours of motorsport is completed in style, with round 27 of the touring cars at 4:45. And we're all set to go racing at Rockingham when we return in a couple of minutes.
A fantastic grid of 20 cars lined up.
Lights out, away we go then. It's Rob Collard versus Matt Jackson. Jackson through. Nash is going to try and follow, and he's done so. Back-to-back victories for Jackson. It's a Chevrolet. 1, 2, 3. Jackson is good off pole. Oh, Giovanardi's going for it. Plato's going to try and take that lead. Oh, it's victory for Jason Plato. Mega start from Collard. Wow, this is fraught stuff. That's touring car racing. Collard knows he's beaten. Matt Jackson wins it.
6 podiums in 6. That's not a bad result.
Yeah, Silverstone 3 weeks to go certainly belonged to the Chevrolet Lassettis, but Rockingham today could be a very big day for the BMWs and Vauxhalls, especially in championship terms. Remember, at the top of the table, it's Colin Turkington with an 11-point lead over Fabrizio Giovanardi, Jason Plato, Matt Neal and Matt Jackson. They all could still win the title mathematically, but they'd need that top two to start dropping some serious points. And in this championship, well, it could happen. Round 25 of the British Championship, all set to go. And in the commentary box, Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yeah, we're looking forward to what could be a crucial race in this year's championship, because Colin Turkington in that BMW is much further down the grid, Tim, than he would like to be, and we're running out of races, so he's got to have a good race here.
Yeah, he needs to get through the pack. He's got the advantage of BMW starting, and it's a long run down to the first corner, so he may make up some places, but he may get in trouble as well. So every race is crucial. Giovanardi is also mid-pack or mid to front pack, but the man with renewed championship hopes is Jason Plato, who's on pole.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. Harry Volkard, he had a problem, so he's going to be starting right at the back. He's actually behind the doctors, the medical car at the moment. Let's take a look at how the grid lines up then for this first race of the day at Rockingham. And it's Jason Plato on his 4th pole position of the season. Chevy's 4th pole in 4 events, but Johnny Adam in the fast-starting Airwaves BMW is right alongside. Matt Jackson, who's had a fantastic run going, he starts 3rd. Stephen Jelley for Team RAC, he starts in 4th place, another BMW. Paul O'Neill, stunning effort in qualifying, he's 5th on the grid. And Gordon Shedden in the new Club Seat setup, but still in a petrol-powered Seat Leon, he starts 6th. Giovanardi starts in 7th place, with Rob Collard alongside in the 2nd Airwaves car. Johnny Herbert's qualified pretty well, he's in the top 10 in the Team Dynamics Honda. Tom Chilton is 10th in the Team Aon Focus. Then Andrew Jordan, another Vauxhall, with James Nash next door in the Team RML Chevy. Another Chevy should have been next up. As we see, though, Harry Volkard's going to be starting further back. There's Turkington all the way down in 14th, championship leader with work to do. Matt Neal starts his 400th touring car race, but I'm afraid he's back in 15th place. 16th on the grid is Dave Pinkney. Then, as we go further back, the other Focus of Tom Onslow Cole, then Anthony Reid in the Team RAC car. Martin Johnson going towards the back of the field in his privateer car. Matt Hamilton, I think, might be starting from pit lane. He's making his debut in touring cars this weekend. Great to have him on board. And at the back of the grid, it is John George. He'll be starting right at the back. So here we go then, all set for the start of this one.
Yeah, Matt Hamilton into the pit lane, and also Harry Volkard into the pit lane very slowly. Hamilton will start at the end of the pit lane. Volkard looks like he's got a problem.
So youngster Matt Hamilton is the youngest driver in the race, but he's going to be starting from the pit lane as he makes his debut. So let's see what he can do. But we're all set for the start of this first race of the day. It's Plato on pole position. Johnny Adam in the BMW is going to try and get that rear-wheel drive advantage off the line. Lights out, away we go. And it's a good start from Johnny Adam as expected in the BMW, and by Stephen Jelley in the Team RAC car. And as they go into the first corner on this banked oval at Rockingham, it is the lead for the Scotsman Johnny Adam. He's up front, and 2nd place could be Stephen Jelley. Jelley in the orange Team RAC car with Jason Plato. Will he fight it? No, he won't quite. And also squeezing through on the inside, Rob Collard. Collard's got past Jackson. Here we go. Johnny Herbert's off, and one off.
That looks like Matt Neal.
Yeah, it's Matt Neal, who was well down the field, and of course struggled yesterday, had an accident in free practice. It's gone wrong for him in his 400th race.
Well, he's already hit the wall in qualifying or in practice yesterday, did a lot of damage to that car. The team did a lot of work to rebuild it. He was unsure quite how good it would be, but it certainly affected his whole weekend now.
So it is Johnny Adam leading. Now the safety car, we gather, is going to be coming out, so that's going to settle the field down. Paul O'Neill in the middle of the pack there. You've got Jason Plato and Matt Jackson, and they've lost out a bit at the start of this race, Tim. The two Chevys lost out quite severely to the BMWs here.
Well, you'd expect the BMWs to be strong off the line. Johnny Adams certainly got a perfect start, and Jelley was aggressive as well. It looked like the Chevys had it covered on the inside, but Jelley did a really good job to get up to 2nd.
Now they're all under safety car, and under the rules now, of course, as soon as the safety car boards come out, they spread around the track, so it's not a question of racing to the line anymore. You've got to settle into position. That's what they're doing under safety car, and we'll get a chance to just look at that order. It's Johnny Adam leading, Stephen Jelley 2nd, Rob Collard. What a start by Collard, because he was 8th on the grid, I think, and he's fought his way up brilliantly there. Behind Collard is Plato and Jackson, then O'Neill, Then Giovanardi in 7th. Now, what about Turkington? He started 14th. He's up to 12th, so he only gained 2 spots at the start there.
Yeah, but Giovanardi's only in 7th as well, so there's plenty more racing to go. Johnny Herbert looks like he's limping his way back into the pit lane. He's had a tough baptism of fire after a very good qualifying. He really felt he'd unlocked the secret of driving the front-wheel drive car by letting the rear slide into the corners a little bit. But let's have a look. The 2 BMWs, Jelley late on the brakes, Collard down the inside, and really good move. Now look at, well, Neil was on the grass. He was on the grass, so he'd already taken some avoiding action, I assume. Either that or the...
This is on board Collard, so this is a bit further up. Now Collard got down the inside of Jackson here. This was a pretty nice move.
It was a great move, really good move, very strong. BMW's looking good on the brakes on this first lap, and he's squeezed Jackson out and got up behind Plato.
That's right. So then he got past Plato, a bit further round actually on this infield.
I'm intrigued by that accident though. Now this looks like. Now look at Neil on the left. Does he get put on the grass here?
No, Neil's coming from elsewhere.
Neil's coming from behind. That was Andrew Jordan's car.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen what put Matt Neil on the grass, but he had an accident there, as I was saying yesterday, where he had too much rear brakes on, and when he braked, it turned the car up into the wall. Now, I just wonder if he had a similar incident there, and it put the car on the grass, and then he couldn't stop.
Yeah, well, possibly. They're still behind safety car, obviously, but down there in the pits, I'm afraid, Johnny is out of the car, and there was nothing that he could have done about that. Matt Neil was on the grass, and just look at the damage to the side of it, Tim.
Yeah, I think he was probably relieved it was a right-hand drive car this time, but
let's just
I don't think Lou's quite ready yet, but the car's still following the safety car around. I think there'll be probably the safety car lights I think have gone out, so he should be in, but let's go down to Lou, get a quick word from Johnny Herbert.
Your car, who's done that?
I'm not quite sure. I think it was one of the Vauxhall. I'm not quite sure. But have this habit of right-handed Formula 1 and bringing it across. I keep meeting people in the pit lane more often on the damn track, so a bit frustrating. It's the first lap. Hopefully we can get it fixed, because it was a bloody big impact.
Thanks.
Thanks, Louise. Well, the safety car has its lights off, so we're ready to go racing once they come past us next time around, and everybody just getting that tyre temperature. Keep an eye out for the yellow Seat of Gordon Shedd. He's down in 8th place, but a good effort making a return with that car, but a different team setup around him. Still sponsorship from Cartridge World on the car, but under the Club Seat banner now. He's just behind Andrew Jordan, just following him through. Tomonto Cole back out in the second focus. Chilton is in the first of the 2 focuses. He's running in 10th place, so lots to watch out for. Johnny Adam is certainly bunching them up well here, Tim.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a good restart. Yet to win his first BTCC race yet. Don't forget he won the Brands Hatch at the start of the year, but got docked back to 2nd, so still looking to win his first race officially. But Jelley's right on his bumper.
Restart takes place though, and it is Johnny Adam who leads. Stephen Jelley in 2nd place, Collard in 3rd. It's BMW's 1, 2, 3, and then the first of the Chevys, that is Jason Plato, followed by Matt Jackson, and then Paul O'Neill's running in 6th place. Giovanardi's in 7th. A bit more space between them. Of course, they started single file this time, and that's the camera showing them as they go down in towards Dean Hairpin and onto that tricky infield section here at Rockingham. Into the right-hander. Adam has made a very good restart. Stephen Jelley just ahead of the second Airwaves car of Rob Collard, and then those 2 Chevys, which we know have great race pace.
Yeah, although in actual fact Plato did a race run simulation yesterday and had higher than expected front tyre wear. This circuit is very hard on the front wheel drive car tyres, so we'll have to see if their new sort of race setup is working for them. But Johnny Adams certainly very confident. He, by contrast, did a very good race run yesterday, so now he's out in front. I think he'll be tough to beat.
Yeah. On board here with Matt Jackson, and there's a little bit of a change. Plato trying to get past Collard ahead. Can he go through? Plato getting alongside, but now he's going to be on the outside as they head down towards the Brook chicane, and there's not space. Plato has to lock back into position, so that is the battle for 3rd place. Plato now beginning to put Collard under a bit more pressure, and look how Jackson closes up as we ride with Jackson, got right onto the rear bumper of his teammate.
Yeah, he just ran up a bit too close to Plato there and lost a bit of inertia coming out, but you can see how high the curbs are at that chicane. The driver's staying well off them now.
So it is Johnny Adams still leading, Stephen Jelley. The top two have never won a race, both of them looking for their first victory. Collard still holding on to third as we're on board with Jackson. Plato just locking up that left rear. Collard made a little mistake there, and Plato will try and take advantage, but there's not really the space to do it.
Yeah, that place where Jason Plato got up the inside into Tarzan, it's a good overtaking place, but the problem is the next corner, the Brook chicane, is a left-hander, so it's very difficult to actually get past.
So still Johnny Adam controlling things up front, looking very good in car 12 in the Airwaves machine, looking for that first victory. Can the young Scot in his first season of touring cars take a win when it looked as though he had one? There's Plato, he's got another little chance to get through on the inside, but again it's a fast sweeping left-hander there at Gracelands. Now he's done him, he's got him as he gets on the approach to Tarzan, and in fact Jackson follows him through.
Yeah, Collard got wide going through Gracelands there. There's a lot of marbles on the outside of the track, and he just had to back out of it and let the two Chevys through.
So Collard, having gained a couple of places on the first lap, take another look at this. How did this happen?
Yeah, you can see already Collard is wide, he's offline, he's picking up marbles, sliding out wide, has to back off just to hold it, loses momentum to Jackson, who's able to get round the outside of him and then cuts across to take the apex.
So the Chevys have picked off one of those BMWs. Can they pick off these two? Still leading the race is Johnny Adam in the Airwaves car, chased by the Team RAC machine of Stephen Jelley. Nothing to choose between them really at this stage. The gap was 0.4 of a second as they crossed the line, and Johnny Adam knows he's got his work cut out. A slightly wider line from him. Chevys follow through. It's Plato, then Jackson, then Collard, and then behind Collard is still Paul O'Neill running well in 6th, and Giovanardi in 7th. Not making much progress at the moment, the reigning title holder. Turkington, meanwhile, similarly, he's stuck in 12th place, hasn't been able to move up the order.
No, Paul O'Neill in actual fact was the highest place. He was 5th on the grid and the highest placed of all the Hondas. I'm very pleased with that performance, and he's looking at another strong race again.
This is good stuff between two guys chasing their first ever win in British touring cars, trying to become the 8th different winner of the season. Is it going to be Johnny Adam? Could it be Stephen Jelley? Or will they both be under pressure from the Chevys down into Tarzan hairpin? Jelley taking the wide line, not really the space to go around the edge there. And Johnny Adam, he's won championships, he's won plenty of races, he knows how to lead a race, he knows how to defend as well, and that's what he's doing at the moment. But behind them, watch out for those two Chevys. Plato's getting a bit closer.
Yeah, well, Johnny Adams' 2 championship wins in Seats, of course, both won Make Series, so he knows how to win against someone in the same Monte car, and this is effectively a BMW race at the front, isn't it, between the two of them? But both absolutely desperate to win, and Jelley reinvigorated his driving, I think, with the arrival of Anthony Reid in the team. It gave him a kick up the backside, and he's really come on fire since Anthony Reid turned up.
Well, Stephen Jelley's 4th place finish at Silverstone last time out, for me, was one of his best ever drives in touring cars. He might not have got on the podium, but he got past Giovanardi, completely surprised Giovanardi, and kept him behind, and it was such a crucial result for the team. And Jelley, he loves this Rockingham circuit in touring cars. Apparently in F3 he never really enjoyed this circuit, but ever since he's been here in a touring car, he's always been quick in the test sessions. Ooh,
that's just the marker board. That's the marker board on the inside. No damage done there. But in actual fact, Johnny Adam has backed Jelley up into Plato, and Plato has set the fastest lap on the last lap, fastest lap. And look, this is going to put Jelley under pressure. That could give Adam a chance to break away again.
So interesting stuff now. As you say, the two Chevys, in fact, are right there now. And Chevy have got such a great run of success going at the moment. This car, the Chevrolet Lassetti now. Oh, and look at this chance for Jackson to actually get past his teammate Plato. And they're both fighting for position here. They won't give any quarter. They might not try to take each other off. But certainly Jackson just slots back in behind Plato. Jackson had a remarkable Silverstone, of course. And in fact, he's on the back of 6 consecutive podium finishes. And no one has ever done that, Tim, in this 3-race format that we have now in touring cars. The last 2 events, amazing.
Absolutely, fantastic run, and mathematically he still has a chance of winning the championship, but I think it's Plato that's perhaps ruining the earlier in the season sort of rush of blood, perhaps at Stetton, where he just thought, I haven't got a chance of winning the championship, and he went death or glory really to win the race, and it cost him dear because he's now actually in a very strong championship position.
Yeah, but he could just do those few more points, couldn't he? But as you say, he's still in there, and Plato, remember, looking for his 50th career win in British touring cars. If he gets that today, that would be a reason for celebration as well. You can see him kicking up the dust just ahead of Jackson here, and Plato giving it his all. But there's 2 BMWs at the moment still in charge. We're on lap 8 out of 18, so we're not quite halfway. You could see the slide on Plato's car there, and no doubt the car's been set up to try and be quick throughout the race distance. These left-handers are what you were talking about, very tough on those front-wheel drive cars. Now into the right-hander at Tarzan.
Yeah, it's almost a complete 360 degree turn that they make going around that long left-hander, so it really works the front tyres very, very hard.
On board still with Matt Jackson, Collard still 5th, O'Neill 6th, Giovanardi still in 7th, and by the way, Turkington, championship leader, still down in 12th. You're looking at the battle now for 6th place between Paul O'Neill in the sunshine.co.uk car, and right behind him, of course, the Vauxhall of Fabrizio Giovanardi. And let's not forget, Vauxhall have already wrapped up the Manufacturers' Championship this year. It was a bit slow there. What happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I think he may have run up really close behind Paul O'Neill and got that exhaust effect in the inlet where it stalls the engine temporarily. But engine problems have been the subject of discussion at Vauxhall since Silverstone, where they really felt the engines were down on power and all the engines were sent back. Oh, that's Jelley in front. Jelley's in front of Adam.
Jelley has taken the lead, so Jelley has taken the advantage here somewhere from Johnny Adam. Adam under pressure from Jason Plato. Plato nearly had a look through on the inside, but it is Stephen Jelley leading here at Rockingham, looking for his first ever victory. And can he now just make a bit of a break here while Johnny Adam perhaps fights off the Chevrolets? This is a real turnaround. Plato still 3rd, Jackson in 4th place, and then behind them that gap back to Rob Collard in 5th. But something happened. Maybe it was down at the Dean hairpin. I'm not quite sure. We'll try and pick it up. Tim, let's have a look and see if we can spot it.
Oh, well, Jelley got down the inside of Adam cleanly at the Dean hairpin. Adam has looked like he's been struggling to stop the car there a little bit, but a really good pass. No need to push Adam wide. He just got absolutely through. Great pass by Jelley.
So Jelley, who has been reinvigorated really in this second part of the season with that great 4th place last time at Silverstone, and now he's in the top spot here at the moment, but there's still some time to go in this race. Johnny Adam in 2nd place. Then the 2 Chevrolets of Plato and Jackson, and we know they can still be a major threat here. Back to Collard in 5th place, bit of a gap to him. O'Neill still in 6th, fending off Giovanardi in 7th place as they come down to Dean. This was where last time around Stephen Jelley made the move to take the lead. We're back on board with Matt Jackson. He closes in on the braking, as you would expect, but as they power on out of the corner, that little gap opens up once more. Jackson just feathering it, just holding that position, wondering if he's still going to get onto the podium in this one. Try and make it 7 consecutive podium finishes for Matt Jackson, and that's what he would love to do, and keep that championship, that scant championship hope alive. Through this infield section, through this long left-hander here into the second part of it, where these front tyres are really taking a caning, but Plato still seems to be able to maintain pace with Johnny Adam.
Yeah, it looks like Plato set his car very loose at the rear to make it oversteer there, to take the load off the front tyres, and certainly all through those corners the rear of the car was stepping out quite substantially. But he's up alongside here, but again, he won't have the inside line for the Brook chicane.
No, that's right. So it should still belong to Johnny Adam. Yes, it does, but then he's going to try and cut through on the exit. It's a tricky little sequence, so it's all about the exit of the corner, really, and Adam will focus on getting a good traction out of that, and I think he has managed to do so, and accelerating on his way. Meanwhile, further back, Turkington gained 1 place on that last lap. He's now up to 11th, and he's putting Gordon Shedden under pressure, so that's something perhaps to keep an eye on as well, because Turkington obviously trying to score some points in this race, and right now the championship leader is not in a position to do so, although his teammate, of course, is leading the race. There's that battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th. There's 5th place man Collard, and then O'Neill still ahead of Giovanardi in the background. Giovanardi hasn't moved from his 7th place, and there we are, still looking at the group up front. 3 and 4, the 2 Chevrolet Lassettis of Plato and Jackson. Now let's just take a little look back. Turkington attacking Shedden, and did he actually manage to get past him? Looks like he may have done.
Yeah, good pass, absolute classic pass, down the inside, stops the car well. Shedden doesn't fight him too hard. I think Turkington had a better exit actually onto the banking initially, and really had a good run at him.
Well, that's put him into the points now, Tim. He's up to 10th place, which is obviously just a point for 10th, but he's on the move, and the next one he's going to have to try and get past is the Chevrolet Lassetti there of James Nash. But as you can see, there's another car just up ahead. That's Andrew Jordan, and then the next one up on the list is his big rival Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Yes, it would really pay, wouldn't it, for him to get past these 2 cars. I mean, that's got to be his target for achieving his optimum in this race, is to pass these 2. Look at the different lines. I mean, Giovanardi well, and Jordan actually, always take these really, really tight lines coming out of corners.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch. Turkington didn't really gain much on the exit of that Brook chicane out onto the oval. We're going through the banked turn one of this Rockingham oval, and there is Nash, and Nash with a blue card just putting a bit of pressure on Andrew Jordan. This will help Turkington. Turkington closes up. They both ahead made a mistake, locked brakes, and that allowed Turkington to get a bit closer. And these two now going side by side. Andrew Jordan in the Vauxhall there, really under attack from another young gun, James Nash, who's been very impressive. Oh, and championship leader Turkington's going to have to be careful.
Yeah, he's going to have to just sort of bide his time. In fact, all three of them ran wide then at the Dean hairpin, but certainly Turkington's probably got the faster car of these three.
This is a fascinating battle to watch. Andrew Jordan in his first season as a works driver, of course, of Vauxhall. But as we know, Vauxhall's involvement... Oh, and there's a change there. Johnny Adam Plato getting past. That is for second place. Jason Plato goes second. I think Jackson... Oh, is he going to take third? I don't know. They're rubbing as they come down to what's called School Straight. And not well behaved at all. No, they do sort it out. And into Brook chicane, okay.
Yeah, it looked like Plato just eased Adam a little bit wide at the Tarzan hairpin, which gave him enough room to slingshot past.
So Plato has gained that position. He's up into all-important second place, 2.2 seconds behind race leader Stephen Jelley. Are we going to get a new winner, or is Jason Plato going to be able to catch the race leader and take his 50th career win in British touring cars? Well, we're going to keep an eye on that, obviously, as Jackson continues his attack here, tucked in behind Johnny Adam, looking for any chance of following his teammate through, but no chances yet. And now as they go through the right-hander at Yentwood, there's not much space to do so there.
Yeah, I was saying about Vauxhall, they sent all their engines back to France, to Sedemo, the engine builders, and they did a lot of work on the engines. Now, this was the overtake. Now, Adam's defending the inside, and Plato's just pushed him wide there. Adam lucky not to end up in the gravel, and Plato obviously figured that was the only way he could get through.
Yep, so both late on the brakes, and then Jackson there was just rubbing a little bit with Adam as they came along, but he's got through now. Look, Jackson has got past. Now that was just then, as we were watching the replay, Jackson found a way to get past.
Yeah, it may well be some damage on Adam's car. I mean, he moved over actually probably a little bit unnecessarily there on Jackson, because he had the inside anyway for the final corner, but now he's got his teammate Collard, lights ablaze, charging up behind.
Disappointing for Johnny Adam. He had the lead of this race and he really wanted to try and maintain that position and go on to victory, but up front at the moment is Stephen Jelley looking for his first ever race win. 13 laps completed. We go on to lap 14 out of 18, and the gap didn't change. Good lap from Stephen Jelley there, matching pretty much to the 100th the lap time of Jason Plato behind. Paul O'Neill comes through. Giovanardi still 7th. Then you've got Jordan, Nash and Turkington the one who could gain a bit here if he can get past those two ahead of him. Not much that Giovanardi here can do about Paul O'Neill currently. Then in the background, just saw Jordan, Nash, a little look up from Nash, and then Colin Turkington in the BMW immediately behind them. So can Turkington find a way past these two guys who are still engaged in their own tussle? And getting into the latter stages of the race now, Tim, we could likely see a few mistakes being made.
Yeah, quite possibly. Obviously the tyres are wearing now, and the tyre wear between the cars can be quite different. I think that perhaps Turkington's thinking, if I just hang back a little bit, maybe Nash will attack harder on the back of Jordan. That might give him my chance.
And up ahead of them, I can tell you, Giovanardi's putting a move on O'Neill and trying to get past Paul O'Neill, so that's very tight as well between the two of them. And
watch how tight Giovanardi goes here.
Yeah.
Literally hugging the inside. I don't know how he manages to get any traction off that tight line. Now he's looking up the inside, but the Honda Integra is actually very quick on the straight, and Paul O'Neill knows that, so he can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, this is good driving from Paul O'Neill. Oh, a little nudge there from Giovanardi in the middle of the Brook chicane, but the car was straight, so it didn't really affect him too much. This is where he's got to be a bit careful about being tucked that close in, because that's when the air inlets can sometimes be affected. Slightly different line at turn 1 as well.
Yeah, no surprise, Giovanardi right down over the inside. These cars doing about 125, 130 miles an hour through that corner, but it's very comfortably flat in the front-wheel drive car.
So no problem there, and O'Neill just a touch wide at Dean. That's not really what he wanted, but again, there's not much space for Giovanardi, and that's Turkington. Championship leader has spun. He's going to lose a place or two here, and that's Shedden going past, and it's also Anthony Reid, of course, his third teammate, and that's a real blow to Team RAC. Turkington was no doubt challenging with Jordan and Nash. Well, I shouldn't think he'll have any problem passing Reid, because Reid will let him go again, but that's dropped him back out of the points.
Yeah, let's see what happened here. This was in front. Now there's Turkington in the background. Oh, he just ran into the back, and as he lifted off, the back end of the car came round.
What happened to Nash? He suddenly slowed on the exit here.
Yeah, let's have another look. Yeah, he did suddenly slow. Whether I don't know whether he missed a gear or what, but there was he really did.
Well, that was the reaction.
Vauxhall boys happy, obviously.
Yeah, Vauxhall celebrating that, because that gives their man Giovanardi a bit more of an opportunity to close the gap in the points, of course. But Stephen Jelley, Turkington's teammate, remember, is still leading, and Giovanardi is past O'Neill. Giovanardi's up into 6th, so it's a double whammy for Turkington on that lap, because he's lost points himself. He's dropped out of the top 10. He's dropped to, I think he's in 11th place now. Yes, he is. So he's just outside the top 10. No, 12th. He's behind Reid as well. And meanwhile, Giovanardi's gained a place. There's the battle between the two Airwaves cars. Johnny Adam, who's 4th, Collard, who's 5th. It's now Giovanardi there in 6th place, with O'Neill in 7th, Jordan in 8th. Then Nash. Shedden is in the top 10, but Turkington certainly is not in the top 10.
No, and of course Jackson is up in 3rd place, so he's looking like Mickey. It's 7 podiums on the trot.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, 7 podiums consecutive possible here for Matt Jackson, and when you've got reverse grids thrown into that nowadays, that is very impressive. Jason Plato apparently has the record for the number of consecutive podium finishes in a season at 19, but of course that was in the days when they had no reverse grid, so if you stayed up front, you were always up front. And I think with reverse grids it's a bit harder. Stephen Jelley still leading this race, looks to be totally in control here, Tim, doesn't he?
He does, really. I mean, he had good pace right from the start, didn't look like he was getting out of shape, made a good move on Johnny Adam for the lead, and he's just consistently stayed in front. Very good drive.
Meanwhile, Johnny Adam under pressure from his teammate Rob Collard's trying to get alongside, and he can just nose alongside. He can't quite do it, so he slots back into position behind him as they head through turn 1. Both of these guys really just looking at race results. They're not featuring for the outright championship. I think next year could be their big year in terms of going for the outright championship. Collard's going to be brave here, trying to go around the outside into Dean. Ooh, and they've got to be careful. The last thing they want is to take each other off.
Well, Collard was massively late on the brakes there. Definitely Johnny Adams' weakness at the moment and throughout this race has been on the brakes. He just can't slow the car down as well as the other cars.
So Sombor with Collard once again. He does seem to have a car that's working well now in the latter part of this race. We're on lap 17 out of 18, running out of time, and it looks as though Stephen Jelley is going to hold on. Look at the cars working hard. You can see that suspension really working, the tyre taking quite a lot of punishment as they go through these two left-handers. Just a few inches off the curb on the inside, but using lots of curb on the exit, and then hard on the brakes again into Tarzan.
Yeah, those runoffs that they've put actually on the exit of Graceland, there's a lot of grip on that section of the track. It really is very good. You can get a lot of grip there, and every driver's used them in all of the races have found that out.
So they're coming around towards the end of this lap. Stephen Jelley, meanwhile, will be coming around to go on to his final lap any moment. There he is, just crossing the line. Stephen Jelley on to his last lap, looking for his first ever win. This is Turkington a moment ago, trying to get back in the top 10. Did he get past Shedden or not? He wasn't quite alongside, and he just went for it, decided he was going anyway. Shedden was still on the inside, and then he managed just to nip past on the inside. He had the left-hander to himself, and he was through, and that has put him into 10th place, so he will get a point out of this. And Adam on the grass, and Collard's through, so Collard is into 4th place.
Yeah, let's hope Adam hasn't got a problem. He's been roughed up a little bit in this race as he got his pace back, but hopefully no puncture as it's the last lap. But yeah, Turkington's done a good job. Reed let him through, and then he managed to get Shedden, so he's just got himself up into 10th place. But this is the man of the race, his teammate Stephen Jelley. Absolutely first-class race, faultless.
Brilliant drive by Stephen Jelley. A little lock up on the front wheel there. He must be getting very, very excited inside that cockpit at the moment. He's only got the School Straight, the Brook chicane, and then the run around the banking to complete to take his first ever victory in the British Touring Car Championship. His second season, of course. He's had podium finishes at Croft. He had a superb 4th place, beating Giovanardi at Silverstone last time out. But Stephen Jelley takes his first ever victory in British Touring Cars. He becomes the 8th different winner this season. It's the 7th win for Team RAC of the year. Chevrolet 2nd and 3rd, and Matt Jackson a brilliant 7 consecutive podiums himself. But who's going to come through? Collard comes through in 4th, Adam 5th, Giovanardi an important 6th. Then it's Jordan in 7th, and O'Neill drops back on that last lap. So Nash takes 8th, O'Neill is 9th, and Turkington finishes 10th.
Yeah, great result for Stephen Jelley, fully justified. You know, it's not an easy championship to come into, and he's paid his dues, and he's well deserved his first victory.
There is
Team West Surrey Racing celebrating an excellent drive.
Yeah, brilliant. Good performance by Stephen Jelley, and he does deserve that victory. He really has been on a roll the last couple of events. And the young man, he's got a degree in fine arts, but he's also an artist at the wheel, as he's proven here today by taking victory. And he drove hard for it, didn't have the lead initially, got a good start, tucked in behind Johnny Adam, found a way past Adam, and once he was ahead, he never was under any threat, even though Jason Plato had set the fastest lap early on. By the time Jelley was ahead, really, the Chevrolets did not quite have that pace. So a really solid performance. Great to have a new winner in British Touring Cars. We've had such an interesting season, but it's good to have somebody new topping the podium here today. Plato and Jackson, though, proving once again that those Chevrolets are fast. And one thing, Tim, the weight really makes a big difference here at Rockingham. We'll just talk about that in a sec. Let's just have a look at the result. Stephen Jelley wins round 25 from Plato and Jackson, the 2 Racing Silverline cars. Then Collard and Adam in the 2 Airwaves cars. And look at that team formation behind, as well as the Vauxhalls of Giovanardi and Jordan, the 6th and 7th. Nash finished in 8th ahead of O'Neill, who dropped back at the end. And Colin Turkington just took 1 point for finishing in 10th. Outside the points, Anthony Reid and Gordon Shedden, then Volkard and Onslow Cole. Ahead of Pinckney and Johnson, then John George, Tom Chilton. Matt Hamilton was out of luck, I'm afraid, and Johnny Herbert, as we saw, was speared out of the race at the very beginning. Well, this is what it's done in terms of the points. Now, Turkington had a useful advantage coming into this race. He's still in front, but the gap has reduced a bit. Giovanardi gaining some points, and Plato definitely closing up a bit as well. Matt Neal, of course, failed to score. He'll be under threat from Matt Jackson as the day continues. Rob Collard next up, then Thompson, of course, no longer a part of the championship. Stephen Jelley's moved up because of that win. Johnny Adam and Andrew Jordan tucked in behind in the points there. And Turkington, I think, will be relatively relieved, perhaps, that things haven't changed any more than that. But let's just come back to the point of ballast here, Tim, because it is crucial at this track.
Yes, it is crucial, and part of that is because the drivers spend virtually 50% of the lap on full throttle. They're actually on full throttle for 43 seconds on the lap, so it's engine power, and therefore anything that restricts that, like ballast, is going to have a big effect.
Stephen Jelley, he has not had this feeling before, but what a time to do it as the championship reaches towards the end. Young man from Leicester, who's not far away from this Rockingham circuit. And there's Albert, his race engineer, who's been working hard with him and really pleased with the way that he's progressed. And Albert said to me yesterday that he really does enjoy this Rockingham circuit. Let's get down to Steve and some reaction.
Stephen Jelley, well done. And what does it feel like to drive into that #1 slot at last?
Oh, awesome. Absolutely amazing. The car's been brilliant all weekend, and it's just awesome.
Well done.
Cheers.
Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Yeah, awesome. And it was just a matter of driving it home in the end. I think Johnny made a little mistake, and that's all I needed, because the car's been so good. So Team RAC's done a brilliant job. And roll on the next 2. Brilliant.
Tim Harvey was saying in the commentary box it looked like near perfection. Is that how it felt to you?
It was, yeah. I was being told the gap to the car behind, and the car was good enough to be able to manage that gap, which is important. You know, if you hear it coming down, then it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I was able to maintain and pull a little bit more, so yeah, the car was perfect.
Tell us about your opportunity to get past Johnny at the hairpin there.
I think he made a mistake. I think we had a quick car, and I was able to stick right on his back. That little mistake's all I need. It's very hard to overtake round here, and as soon as I saw him going wide, that was it. I was in that gap. Brilliant.
So what sort of a boost is this going to provide for you?
Oh, just a massive boost. Everyone wants to be a race winner, don't they? That's why we're here. So, yeah, to have done it, that's a box ticked. Try and do the next two.
Winner at last, and plenty more to come, I'm sure. Congratulations. Stephen Jelley, winner of our first race today. We'll be getting more reaction. He gets the congratulations of Dick Bennett at West Surrey Racing as well. We'll get more reaction in particular to what all this means to the championship battle as well. All that coming up in a few minutes, and then we'll go racing again with the Formula Renaults.